your question in your email, and we will be more than happy to address it at that time. Thank you.
If you have a question, you need to come to the microphone here in the middle of the room, and we have just a couple of minutes, so maybe just one or two questions. Thank you.
I appreciate the high hopes that this committee has, despite the presentation by Primo Ilagan. I would like to share that the opening mandate of the NEPA law states, the very first part of it states, that the NEPA mandate is to declare a national policy which will encourage productive and enjoyable harmony between man and his environment, to promote efforts which will prevent or eliminate damage to the environment and biosphere, and stimulate the health and welfare of man. The NEPA Act is all about the human environment. Potential impacts are not all unknown. I would like to address Ms. Dueñas' comments regarding the defense supply chain multiplier effects. How do we defend as something good defense supply chain multiplier effects on the economy when in the past 100 years, few, if any, defense-related industry have grown up on this island and are unlikely to do so now? Number two, multinational industries and companies, as I understand, will be siphoning revenues off island with a depressive impact on small island businesses. Number three, foreign companies that are operating inside the military bases are going to be problematic in terms of collecting due taxes. What assurances do we have that Guam will be able to collect those taxes? Thank you.
I believe, if I recall, the 3 points, 2 of those I think can be better addressed by our Director of Revenue and Taxation. I can share that about a month ago, we were graced with the presence of the Undersecretary, Dr. Robine, and I know I spent a couple of hours in a meeting where we discussed some of the challenges of our inability to capture all of the potential revenues that we should be enjoying as a result of this buildup. And I have to say that I was very pleased with the Admiral was present at the response that they would be doing their part to coordinate with the Department of the Navy to ensure that the problems, whatever they may be, the details I'm sure Art is most aware of, will be ironed out, and they didn't see that there would be any problems to resolve those issues. So I'll hand it over to Art. The first question with regard to Department of Defense contracts, as I understand it, I need to get together with you, Hope, maybe after this. I'll allow Art to answer a little bit of your two subsequent questions, and we can discuss that. Thank you.
Thank you, Prima. When we spoke with the JICPA group that came out, we asked them if we can have, before they give out the contracts, can they withhold the 4% GRT and send it over to us, instead of us going through this primary contractor and then having all the subs, and then we go after the subs, the subcontractors. I think there's some difficulty in locating who these people are, but if we get the withholding up front, the withholding of 4% up front, and then they come to us and say, if they're not supposed to pay that tax, then they would file an amended return and say they're not a filing jurisdiction in Guam, they should file with their state. Then we can work it out that way. That way we know who's supposed to pay and who's not paying. On the second issue of can we collect it, I think funding of revenue tax to make sure that all the taxes that are supposed to be filed and paid in Guam. There's a lot of these corporations who are in the States, they don't know that Guam's a different filing jurisdiction, and they would withhold from their employees, yet their employees are filing here in Guam, and they're paying their taxes in Guam. And guess what? When they file, they want a refund, we give them the refund, but the withholding is filed with the IRS. So a lot of times it's just that communication with these companies to make sure that they know that when they withhold from their employees in Guam, they pay it in Guam.
Art, I'd like to comment and sort of ask you to address. I don't think the problem is principally with, it's funding, but with staff. I think it's equipment and human capital, in other words, training. You've hinted that in the end, but I think I'd like to address that further.
The training that we had about 3 or 4 years ago was training that we coordinated with the Department of Interior. They funded that training, and the Treasurer's Office, who sent over a couple of IRS training. Training is not just a 2-week thing. It takes about a month for one phase, then there's OJT, then there's like 3 or 4 phases after that. So it takes about a couple of years to train the staff.